Well, hello, you sparkling and beautiful child of God, and welcome to Bible Bedtime, Season 5, Episode 221. I am your host, Dana, and in this podcast, I read a full chapter of the Bible in a way that I hope helps you fall asleep in heavenly peace. Since this is Season 5, we'll read through the 5th book of the Old Testament, Deuteronomy, and the 5th book of the New Testament, Acts. And as I've done in previous seasons, we're going to start with the Old Testament and then move on to the New. In each episode, after I read the full chapter, I do read another selection, and tonight I'll be reading from the book of Psalms, and we'll finish, as we always do, with the Lord's Prayer. Now, if you'd like to support this ad-free podcast with a love offering, we are on Venmo, and you can enter at Bible Bedtime or just search for Bible Bedtime podcasts, and all the links are in the show description. And a gift of any size helps me offset the costs of producing the show and blesses me tremendously. And I have a special thank you to Morgan, who left me a love offering, and I actually woke up in the morning and that was the first thing I saw on my phone was a love offering from Morgan. And what a great way to start my day. Just seeing that someone is benefiting and is reaching out from Bible Bedtime podcast, it means so much to me. Thank you, Morgan, for all that you do. I appreciate it so much. Now, if you would like to reach out to me, please do so at email. The email address is BibleBedtimePodcast@gmail.com, or you can join our Facebook group, and you know I would love to hear from you. Now, with all of that said and done, it's time to relax and get ready to fall asleep. Your day is over. Anything that needs to be done can wait until tomorrow. Now is the time for you to simply accept the blessing of sleep. Sometimes when I have a hard time sleeping, I will sometimes think about what life would be like if we didn't have to sleep. And as someone who works a lot and loves her job, I sometimes think how much more I could get done at work, at home, with my family and friends, if I didn't have to sleep, or if I didn't have to sleep 8 hours like I do. But when I actually think about it, it doesn't seem quite as pleasant as I might imagine, because there is certain peace that comes from having a bed that you crawl into at the end of the day and that you have a natural separation from one day to the next. And when I think about not having that separation, or not having an opportunity to shut down and rest, it makes me realize and appreciate how much of a blessing it is for us to sleep. So let's accept that blessing. And the most beautiful thing about the blessing of sleep is that we don't really need to do anything but stop and relax and allow sleep to overtake us. Now, as we do in each episode, we're going to, if you'd like, take 3 deep breaths. And there's a reason that we do this. If you get in the habit of taking these 3 deep breaths, it triggers your mind into knowing that it's time to sleep. And that is so important to build those habits. So let's take those breaths. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, excellent. Deuteronomy 6. These are the commands, decrees, and laws the Lord your God directed me to teach you to observe in the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess, so that you, children, and their children after them may fear the Lord your God as long as you live, by keeping all his decrees and commands that I give you, and so that you may enjoy long life. Hear, O Israel, and be careful to obey, so that it may go well with you, and that you may increase greatly in a land flowing with milk and honey, just as the Lord, the God of your fathers, promised you. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be upon your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, and when you walk along the road, and when you lie down, and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. When the Lord your God brings you into the land He swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you a land with large, flourishing cities you did not build, houses filled with all kinds of good things you did not provide, wells you did not dig, and vineyards and olive groves you did not plant. And when you eat and are satisfied, be careful that you do not forget the Lord who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. Fear the Lord your God, serve Him only, and take your oaths in His name. Do not follow other gods, the gods of the peoples around you. For the Lord your God, who is among you, is a jealous God, and His anger will burn against you, and He will destroy you from the face of the land. Do not test the Lord your God as you did at Massah. Be sure to keep the commands of the Lord your God and the stipulations and decrees He has given you. Do what is right and good in the Lord's sight, so that it may go well with you, and you may go in and take over the good land that the Lord promised on oath to your forefathers, thrusting out all your enemies before you, as the Lord said. In the future, when your son asks you, what is the meaning of the stipulations, decrees, and laws the Lord our God has commanded you, tell him, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Egypt, but the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Before our eyes, the Lord sent miraculous signs and wonders, great and terrible, upon Egypt and Pharaoh, his whole household. But He brought us out from there to bring us in and give us the land that He promised on oath to our forefathers. The Lord commanded us to obey all these decrees and to fear the Lord our God, so that we might always prosper and be kept alive, as is the case today. And if we are careful to obey all this law before the Lord our God, as He has commanded us, that will be our righteousness. the second psalm. Why do the nations conspire and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth take their stand, and the rulers gather together against the Lord and against his anointed one. Let us break their chains, they say, and throw off their fetters. The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. Then he rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath, saying, I have instilled my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will proclaim the decree of the Lord. He said to me, you are my son. Today I have become your father. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your inheritance, the ends of the earth your possession. You will rule them with an iron scepter. You will dash them to pieces like pottery. Therefore, you kings, be wise, be warned, you rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you be destroyed in your way. For his wrath can flare up in a moment. Blessed are all who take refuge in him.
The Lord's Prayer, which is found in Matthew 6. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one.